Hello, I'm Mayor Deborah March, and I'd like to welcome you to the City of Henderson's 2020 Veterans Day ceremony. The precautions that we must take to protect the health and safety of our community during the COVID-19 pandemic prevents us from holding a public ceremony, but we're hosting this virtual presentation to pay tribute to our veterans and to announce the names of the 9 Henderson heroes who will be added to the Veterans Memorial Wall this year. The city's annual Veterans Day ceremony is one of our proudest traditions, and we're thankful that you are joining us to honor the courageous men and women who have selflessly defended our great nation and protected our freedoms. I'm the proud mother of a former Army Ranger who served 4 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the daughter of parents who served for the duration of World War II, so I know firsthand the sacrifices that service members and their families make to protect our country. Honoring our veterans is also something that we feel deeply about as a city, and that's why we established the Veterans Memorial Wall in the plaza adjacent to City Hall. My colleague, Councilwoman Michelle Romero, will tell you more about Henderson's Memorial Wall in just a moment. Our special guest today is Congresswoman Susie Lee, whose father was a Korean War veteran who is a staunch supporter of veterans serving on the Veterans Affairs Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives. She was instrumental in renaming the Henderson Post Office the Veterans Memorial Post Office. We will also have a musical salute to the armed forces presented by the Henderson Symphony Orchestra. We'll conclude our ceremony by announcing the names of the 9 service members who have been added to the Veterans Memorial Wall and place a wreath honoring all those who have served in America's armed forces. On behalf of my City Council colleagues and the City of Henderson, I extend our deepest gratitude to all veterans and their families for their sacrifices in service to our country.
The City of Henderson has a long tradition of honoring those who served in America's armed forces that dates back to our founding as a community born in America's defense during the Second World War, when our city was built to house workers manufacturing critical magnesium supplies for the Allied war effort. Henderson's Veterans Memorial Wall, the first to be built in southern Nevada, was dedicated in November 1994 as a tribute to our hometown heroes. Standing adjacent to Henderson City Hall, the panels were originally inscribed with 1,213 names, and today this monument bears the names of more than 1,850 veterans who served our nation. Eligible individuals can have their names added to one of 6 panels, which include Vietnam veterans, Persian Gulf War veterans, Global War on Terror veterans, Purple Heart recipients, and veterans who are deceased or were killed in action. Each year, the names of additional Henderson veterans who qualify for recognition are etched into the panels commemorating their service, and these brave men and women are remembered at the city's annual Veterans Day ceremony for the sacrifices they made to protect the freedoms we all cherish as Americans. We invite you to visit the Henderson Memorial Wall, which is open to the public 365 days a year and stands as an enduring tribute to our community's veterans.
Hi there, I'm Congresswoman Susie Lee, and it's an honor for me to speak to you on the most sacred of days, Veterans Day. You know, earlier this year, I had a chance to sit down with one of our own here in Henderson, a true community leader, Daniel Peterson. Not only that, Daniel Peterson was a U.S. Army aviator and a recipient of the Purple Heart. When we sat down, he told me a story. In 1970, during the Vietnam War, Daniel was flying a reconnaissance mission to locate enemy targets. And during that mission, he and his co-pilot were attacked. And they were both badly wounded. But after the attack, they stuck together and they continued on their mission to locate enemy targets, just as he was ordered to do. Daniel was awarded the Purple Heart and the Distinguished Flying Cross for heroism. And I asked Daniel, what helped you get through this darkest of times? And he said it was a willingness to help each other get through good times and bad. It's that simple. But more than that, his answer perfectly summed up the selflessness and courage instilled in every man and woman in uniform, because they're not fighting just for themselves, they're fighting for us. As a member and a subcommittee chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, passing smart legislation and improving the lives of veterans is a top priority for me. I'm proud that with the help of Democrats and Republicans, we have passed veterans legislation that improves veterans' lives and makes a real difference. Over the summer, my bill was signed into law to expand telehealth services within the VA to help veterans still get the treatment they need even during this pandemic. Also this year, President Trump signed our bill into law to help hundreds of thousands of student veterans hold on to the GI Bill, work study, and housing benefits that were at risk of being lost during this pandemic. But even as coronavirus affects every part of our lives, veteran services were in desperate need of improvement long before the pandemic reached our shores. Like I said, veteran suicide rates are increasing. The way I see it, we can't just trim around the edges to deal with the real problem of veteran suicide. We need real reform to get our veterans the mental health care they need. I introduced a bill to launch the Zero Suicide pilot program in the VA. This Zero Suicide initiative is a program built on the belief that all suicides are preventable through proper care. 20 veterans a day take their lives by suicide. I think we can all agree that one death is too many. My bill would implement a comprehensive care-based zero suicide efforts and a pilot program at 5 VA centers across the country. If we can show these pilot programs work within the VA system, then we can expand the program to reach every veteran in America. Whether it's healthcare, workforce training, higher education, or homelessness prevention, this is the type of bold policy that our veterans and their families deserve. If you sign up to defend our freedom, it's our duty to make sure that you have the opportunities to succeed when you come home. That's how we truly say thank you. So to all of our veterans in Nevada and throughout the country, thank you for your service. And thank you to Henderson Mayor Deborah March, the Henderson City Council, and everyone joining us here today to commemorate Veterans Day.
Attention. Carry. Colors. Forward. March. Ready. Hold. Present. Colors. Order. Colors. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you to the Henderson Police Department and the Henderson Fire Department Honor Guard for the presentation of colors and all you do to keep our community safe. I'm joined today by Councilman Dan Shaw, Councilwoman Michelle Romero, and Councilman Dan Stewart. We're gathered here at the Veterans Memorial Wall to honor our hometown heroes for their service to our nation, and to place this wreath on behalf of a grateful community and in recognition of the valor exemplified by the men and women whose names adorn the wall, and who defended our freedoms as members of our American Armed Forces. This year, we inscribed the names of 9 new individuals on the panels that make up the Veterans Memorial Wall. I'll now ask my colleagues to assist in reading each of the names, beginning with a member of the City Council who is a proud veteran of the U.S. Army, Councilman Dan Shaw.
Thank you, Mayor. Today we honor John B. Fresquez, whose name has been added to the Vietnam Veterans Panel. And we add the first names to our new panel recognizing those veterans of the global war on terror. To read the names being added, I invite my colleague, Councilman Dan Stewart, to the microphone.
Thank you, Councilman Shaw. Appreciate that. Today, we honor Eric Whaley, Kirk Takeshi Fuchigami Jr., and Megan Murray-Woodmansee. I would like now to invite my colleague, Councilwoman Michelle Romero, to read the names of those being added to our deceased veterans panel.
Thank you, Councilman Stewart. Today we honor Felix Havis, Rowland B. Purmal, Anthony Gonzalez, Jerome Francis Shearin, and Jose Antonio Fuentes.
Thank you, council members. May I ask that you please join me in remembering all of Americans' veterans who have passed away, but whose memories live on in our hearts by observing a moment of silence, which will be followed by the playing of taps. That concludes our ceremony. Thank you again to Congresswoman Susie Lee, the Henderson Police and Fire Honor Guard, my colleagues on the City Council, and to everyone who joined us today for this virtual event. And from the bottom of our hearts, our sincerest gratitude to America's veterans and to the family members and loved ones who helped to make their service possible. Thank you.